I'd like to show you a super quick tutorial on how to modify an Xbox 360 controller. I've got a person who uses the controller like this on their lap, and pressing this button here, the thumbstick button, is extremely hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend that button elsewhere with a low pressure momentary switch. Like this. Don't know how well you can see it there. There's pictures on thecontrollerproject.com. If you can solder, you can do this mod. Super easy, and you could extend any button on the Xbox controller. So let's get started. Okay, we've split the controller open. If you look here, there's the actual button that we need to extend. You can see it being pressed there. So let's flip this over and look at the back. This can actually be pulled to the side a little bit so that we can access the solder pads. It's these two solder pads right above my thumb here. Don't know how well you can see that. Again, there's pictures on thecontrollerproject.com. Those two solder pads, all you have to do is solder in a wire and connect it to a switch. And then we'll mount the switch somewhere else on the controller that's easier to use. Alright, let's do that real quick. It's soldered in. I'll put this back in place, make sure it snaps back into its holes. We have a button now that is extremely easy to push that will function the same as the thumbstick button. Now we'll reassemble it and mount this on the controller. Okay, at this point it's reassembled. It's tested, it works. This functions the same as pushing this. So you could literally just put this piece back on, drill a small hole, and hot glue this onto the edge, or use glue or something like that, and it would be usable. Now obviously this is not the most professional looking modification there is, but it's dirt cheap and it's super easy, and this will allow somebody to be able to use that feature as they're playing much easier. Now I'm going to cut a hole and actually mount this button in here, but again, that is not essential for this tutorial. Here's the final controller. As you can see, I took the extra step of putting a hole in the controller and mounting the switch inside of there. There's a dab of nail polish on the end of it to make it a little bit more comfortable and pretty. That's it. All it is 4 soldered points, and you could literally have just soldered it and hot glued it on to the edge of the controller. It's as easy as it gets. If you can solder, you can help make a custom controller.